ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां व्यासशङ्करमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ भवता जनता सुविता भविता निजबोधविचारणचारुमते कलयेश्वरजीवविवेकविदौ भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणम्। ॐ श्री परब्रह्मणे नमः। समस्तब्रह्मविद्याचार्येभ्यो नमः। अथर्वऋषये माण्डुक्यऋषये गौडपादऋषये आद्यशङ्करऋषिभ्यो नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ अथ अथर्ववेदान्तर्गतमाण्डूक्योपनिषद शान्तिमन्त्रः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अथ चतुर्थ अलाथ शान्ति प्रकरणम्। हरि ओम्। Salutations to the Lord, to the Gurus, and all of us also who are in this toughest journey of spirituality. In that also the toughest study of Mandukya Upanishad with Karikas and Bhashya we are attempting. In this attempt of ours, our success is, to begin with, is in the attempt itself. In that, if you have gone through at least the parayana of the mantra and bhashya, we are a little more advanced. While doing so, if we are able to match with in our thinking and logic with that of Bhagavan Adi Shankara and Gaudapada, really we are highly benefited. And if we can digest it, what is said, and live it, then we are ultimate. But at least this attempt itself is appreciable. Many people just listening that is Mandukya very tough, they just go away. But whatever the reasons you are there, one of the reason I know is an obligation. If we also don't go, Swami may feel all alone, lonely. It's okay, but that itself also, in your mind, it is an obligation. But in the God's grace, they are giving you a blessing by making you at least out of obligation being regular. But study itself is great. Shastra study, in that also Upanishad, in that also Mandukya, in that also the Karikas. Okay. Now at present we are in the fourth ALAATHA Shanti Prakaranam. So what is being achieved by the Advaita Vedantin is Ekameva Advayam Brahma Neha Nanasti Kinchana Kadapi. Then what of the world? Ajata. What of the Chitta? Ajata. This is what is being achieved. Then what is there? Everywhere he alone. See that vision. You can say pot is real, there is no mud at all. You can say the pot is the effect, mud is the cause, from the mud pot came. You can also say it's only mud, there is no pot at all. It is true. Remove the mud from the pot, show me the pot without mud. You can't. Therefore, where is the pot actually? Nowhere. What is the mud? This is called Ajatavad. Mud cannot become anything else. It is its own sarupa. Therefore, from the mud there cannot be any creation happening. Therefore, creation is not there. This is the fact. There is a higher logic. There is a higher understanding. The other understanding, no, 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 there is a pot in that shape, this shape, the mud has not got that shape. All this is Laukika Vada. This is all called as the Vyavaharika Vada. It's a discussion of utility. So when you are in the utility level, Laukika Vada, you will think in that language only. Your intellect will go only up to that level. It will not rise up to the higher level. That's why through Vivek Vairagya, only the one who has given up everything alone can give up all those emotional attachments and think logically these higher things. He's just like the one who has got a refrigerator and all the steel made bartan. If you give him that example, the pot is unreal, he will be accepting it because pot से कोई लेना देना नहीं है. और जिसका दिन भर काम पॉट से ही है उसको बताओ ऐसा पॉट मिथ्या है, he will be miserable. How can my pot be मिथ्या? It is giving me so much help every day. So too the steel बर्तन यूजने वाले को उसको कहो तो steel is real, steel बर्तन मिथ्या, then he will feel bad. See that ladle in whatever the shape it is there and you are using it for serving dal sambar. But it is mithya. The reality is the steel with which it is made or what are the material. In the same way, ajatam is his point. Karika kara. Now, outer world is not at all there and not at all required for the chitta to have the knowledge, it is said. It is proved by what? Bhuta darshanam. After seeing so, inside also it is said, just like on the strength of Bhuta Darshanam, we have rejected outer things. Again, on the strength of Bhuta Darshanam, even Chitta also is rejected. Before that, in the absence of the world, how come Chitta is having the knowledge? The answer is this shloka number 27. Nimittam na sada chittam samsprushati advasutrishu animitto viparyasaha katham tasya bhavishyati. You only say ki chitta never touches the object. Why? Because the object itself is not there. Then when the object itself is not there, how can the chitta has got a viparyasa of an object knowledge then? It cannot, should not have. It should not have, but still it has got means what? It is mithya only, it is unreal only. Though it is mithya and unreal, how come chitta is having the knowledge of it? उसी को चित्त कहते हैं, जो नहीं है उसका संकल्प करता है. That is how here concluded. Ayam eva hi swabhava chittasya yad uta asati nimitte ghatadau tadvad avabhasanam. Now this is a very crucial important topic or point in this topic. That is called as chitta, which even though there is no ghata, it does the avabhasanam of the ghata. When it was the stage of mud, in that the chitta only is imagined the pot. And it is continuously seeing pot only when it is made. In fact, whether you imagine the pot in the mud, whether you try to convert the mud into pot, whether you have made the pot completely and are using whatever you are talking is about mud only their reality, but it is in your chitta which is continuously entertaining the thought that it is a pot. You are holding on to your own notion. Expand this thing. Everything is Parabrahma only. But it is Chitta which is calling Parabrahma in the name of this world. This is called Chitta's work. What is to be done that? Don't trust that Chitta. Trust the Shastra. What it says? Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. Sarvam hi etat Brahma yamatma Brahma. No, you understand what is Chitta? Chitta is that in the gold it sees ornaments. That's what it is. Ayameva chitta yat asati nimitte ghatadau tadvad avabhasanam. Now, what I gave example is outer example. But what is point made here is without the objects outside, chitta alone appears as that objects. That is its swabhava. Now, from this standpoint, a subtle thing should be understood by us ki whatever the grass we are saying, there is nothing gross in this world, everything is chitta only. Then on the next level we go, if there is nothing called chitta also. What is there is only pure, conscious, blissful, all pervading self. That is ultimate. This through logic, through contemplation, long time contemplation and logic, slowly these things will click to us. We will be able to understand. Now, प्रज्ञप्तेः निमित्तत्वम् इत्यादि एतदन्तं विज्ञानवादिना बौद्धस्य वचनं बाह्यार्थवादि पक्ष प्रतिपश्यत पक्ष प्रतिषेध परम् आचार्येण अनुमोदितं तदेव हेतुं कृत्वा तत् पक्ष प्रतिषेधाय तदिदम् उच्यते तस्मादित्यादि. He used the Buddha Kshanika Vijnanavadin's logic by which he rejected the presence of outer world, saying that without the presence of outer world, Chitta by its nature only manipulates all the names and forms. Now, using the same logic, he says, just like without the object the Chitta is able to imagine, so too, without the actual presence of Chitta, appearance of the Chitta is there. Therefore, Chitta is only appearance, so it is not real. Same logic. बिना ऑब्जेक्ट का चित्त ने सबको मैनिपुलेट किया कि नहीं, या चित्त भी अपने एब्सेंस में ही है. इट इज नॉट देयर इन एब्सोल्यूट रियलिटी. दैट्स व्हाट ही सेज. तस्मात् न जायते चित्तम चित्त दृश्यम न जायते तस्य पश्यन्ति ये जातिम केवै पश्यन्ति तत्पदम. सो चित्त दृश्यम न जायते यस्मात् तस्मात् चित्तम अपि न जायते. तस्य पश्यन्ति ये जातिं ये तस्य चित्तस्य जातिं पश्यन्ति ते केवै पश्यन्ति पदम्. When you are seeing the birds flying and we are looking for the footprints, if you really say to others कि मैंने footprints को देखा, you are absolutely speaking lies only. As much it is a lie to say that I have seen the footprints. You have never seen, but you have lied only. It is not there. In the same way, saying that Chitta is there is like I am seeing the footprints of the birds on the sky space. So much Bhagavan here Karikara says, just like there are no footprints of the bird while it flies, so too there is no Chitta at all in the consciousness. तस्मात् न जायते चित्तम चित्तदृश्यम न जायते तस्य पश्यन्ति ये जातिम. Whoever sees or understands and accepts that chitta is born, केवै पश्यन्ति ते पदम. They are seeing the footprints of the birds flying in the space. Good. See the bhashya. Yasmat, because asati eva ghatado. Even though the ghatadi are not there, ghatadi abhasata chittasya, but chitta alone abhasata appears like the ghatadi. Vijnanavadina abhyupagata, that is said by the Vijnanavadi. Anumohitam asmabhihavi, we also have accepted that Bhuta Darshanat, because objects are not there. When you go trace to the source of the object, you will go to the darshan of the Bhuta, that which always is there, called Paramatma. Now, tasmat, because of this reason, tasya api, tasya means kasya chittasya api, of the chitta also, jayamana avabhasata. Jayamana avabhasata, the appearance of the chitta's birth, api चित्तस्य जायमान अवस्था चित्तस्य जायमान अवस्था असति एव जन्मनि युक्ता भवितुम् इति अतः न जायते चित्तम यथा चित्त दृश्यम न जायते. Just like chitta drishyas are not born because the objects are not there because of bhuta darshanam, so to chitta also is not born because when you do the bhuta darshana of the chitta, in that also you see Paramatma. Therefore, there also chitta janma, chitma jati, you have to reject it. Like, why did we reject the chair? We rejected the chair by going into the cause of the chair. When we went into the cause of chair, the first cause was plastic. but the ultimate cause is Parabrahma only. Therefore, what you are seeing is Parabrahma only, but who is saying it as chair? My own chitta. Therefore, is the chair there actually? भूत दर्शन के दृष्टि से नहीं है. Therefore, बिना रहने वाले चेयर का इमेजिन कौन कर रहा है? चित्त ही कर रहा है. So, चित्त is that which imagines chair even though it is not there. In the same way, chitta itself, when it is done of its bhuta darshanam, it will merge in Paramatma. Therefore, even chitta also is not born. Means if you consciously observe where from the chitta and its vrittis are born, you will end up in conscious self only in which chitta vrittis are never there. Therefore, it's only appearance, acceptance only that even chitta is there or born. In reality, it is not. Like pot is born is an acceptance only. Pot is never born. Mud has never become the pot. It's always mud only. Every kana of the mud is always the same mud. It never changed. It's one without second. So this is the logic. Because chitta drushya through bhuta darshanam, you proved them not to be there. So to chitta also, when its bhuta darshanam is done, uska bhi janam nahi hai, maran nahi hai. Therefore, where is the entire world born in? Chitta. Then where is the chitta born in? It is also not born. So neither world born nor chitta born. What remains? Never born, eternally remaining Parabrahma. That's called Ajatavad. So yatha chitta drishyam na jayate. No, atha tasya chittasya ye jatim pashyanti vijnanavadinaha. Those who say that chitta also is born, Shanikatva, they what do you say the Shanikavadi? They accept the presence of chitta. They say it kshana kshana changing, and in the chitta because of changes there is dukkha. Then shunyatva anatmatvadi. They talk about the shunyavada ultimately, and they don't accept the presence of atma, which is eliminating that shunyata. Therefore, such people तेन एव चित्तेन चित्तस्वरूपं द्रष्टुम् अशक्यं पश्यन्तः केवै पश्यन्ति ते पदं पक्षामि. They are such ones like seeing the footprints of the birds who say the chitta is born. अतः इतरेभ्यः अपि द्वैतेभ्यः अत्यंत साहसिका इति अर्थः. Means what? When you trace back to the object, its origin, you reach to a self in which the object is never there. So too, when you trace back to the subject called as chitta, will reach to a conscious self in which there never was a chitta born. In this stage, the great Jnani Karikakara seated and writing Karikas, and Bhashyakara is seated and giving us Bhashya. Remember that example of the necklace on the neck but backside. Imagine the necklace is lost. Necklace is searched. Somebody guided you. Then you saw it on your own neck. Then you found it and you are happy. Now, in all this process of losing the necklace, becoming miserable about it, finding fault with everyone, blaming others, doubting others, then went on searching in the house and become miserable, but you could not find. And somebody came and you put your problem to them. Then they said, "Ye to tumhare gale mein hai." And you looked at it and you felt so happy, and all the doubts gone away, fears gone away, dukkha gone away. Then you blamed the servant, you said, "All sorry." While all this drama is done, what happened to the necklace? It was always there. It is always there. It will always be there. It was my ignorance of it made me appear it is not there. Is it not? In the same way, in all the three kala, what is there is Paramatma only. In the ignorance of him only, the chitta as if is appearing. Like otherwise, the ornament is never lost. The losing of the ornament is a concept only. Is removed by the other concept that the hara is gained. Neither you have lost it nor you gained it. What were you when you lost it? You were ignorant of it. What were you when you gained it? You were knowledgeable about it. Then what happened? Everything, ignorance made it appear as lost, knowledge made it appear as gained. Neither it was lost nor it was gained. Is it not? In the same way, what is always is self. In its ignorance only, the chitta is as if appearing. Chitta is never born. Like the absence of the gold ornament never born. Because already absent gold, the ornament is there in your neck only. So here he says, tasya chittasya ye jati pashanti vijnanavadina, all that is said. Ata itarebhya api dvaitibhya atyanta sahasika iti artha. So yepi shunyavadinah, and those who say everything is shunyam ultimately, pashyantah eva sarva shunyatam swadarshunasya api shunyatam prajanate te tatapi sahasikatara kham mushtinapi jigrukshanti. Such people who say everything is Shunya, they are more laughable because everything is Shunya is consciously known by you. There are two logics. Listen carefully. This Shunyavadi says everything is Shunya. When he has to say everything is Shunya, he should see everything, then only he can say everything. Like, go and look for that object in the rooms. So there are 8 rooms, let us say. 6 rooms he searched and came and said, Dekha maine nahi dikha. Naturally, that person asks you, "Ki all rooms have you searched or not? No, 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 I left 2 rooms. Then usko bhi search karke aao, karke aa. Then what he said? All rooms I searched, nowhere it is found. In the same way, the Shunyavadi should say, I seen all things are everywhere Shunya. Now, when this fellow went to search for that object, in every room the object was not there. But was he there or not to see that the object is not there? In all the 8 rooms, yes, the object which he is searching is Shunya. Lekin he was there to certify that Shunya. So, which is the place object is not there? Everywhere. But which is the place where you are there? Everywhere. Therefore, when they say it is Shunyata, how can they it so when you are there everywhere? That is what he says. Swadarsanasya api shunyatam pratijanate te. How can you say there is nothing? Why? You are there, no? So every part you are searching and there is nothing. To search that every part where there is nothing, you have to be there. Therefore, every part you are there. You alone is there. Ignorance of you made shunyata. From the shunyata, the kalpana came. Ignorance of the thing is called as ajnanam, then anyatha jnanam. Tattvasya agrahanam, then anyatha agrahanam, as we saw in this very Upanishad. He says, tatahapi sahasikataraha. They are more sahasika. Kam mushtina avijigushan. Their impossible is like with the fist they want to catch the akash. No, that example also is so funny, With the mushti is the fist. You can hold an object. You can take a 10 grams of chana or mungfali. That is how you do with the mushti. You may even take the lot of currency also as a pakad kar le sakte. Can you catch the akasha like this? First of all, akasha cannot be caught. Second, it is not a gross object. Third, when you are catching akasha with mushti, actually, you are leaving the akasha only from the hand. Because the catching of akasha happens when you open the hand, not close it. Other things you can hold when you close, like this mic. When I open the hands, the mic is left, not held. But when I close the hand, the mic is held. In case of Akasha, close the hand, then Akasha is left. Open the hand, Akasha is held. His fellow is saying, I will hold the Akasha with mushti. How much it is a illogical thing, impractical thing, impossible thing. In the same way, who say that I am not there, conscious self is not there, or who say everything is Shunya, they are more Sahasika. I alone am eternally there. No thing is other than me, past, present, or future. Having said so, now Uktaihi Etubihi, with all these logics, Ajam Ekam Brahma iti Siddham. Ajam, unborn, Ekam, one without second, Brahma iti Siddham. This is how in the earlier Prakarana also started with. अतो अकार्पण्यम वक्ष्यामि अजाति समतांगतम यथा न जायते किंचित जायमान समन्ततः अजम सर्वव्यापकम एक ही है यत यत पुनः आदौ प्रतिज्ञातम दिस वाज द व्हाट प्रतिज्ञा डन कि ओनली ब्रह्मन इज देयर ही इज नाइदर born nor dying in him nothing is born nothing is born he is eternally there ब्रह्मन है हमेशा है उनसे कुछ उत्पन्न न हुआ इसलिए उत्पत्ति नहीं हुई इसलिए किसी का उत्पत्ति नहीं हुआ मतलब कोई जन्म नहीं लिया फिर अल्टीमेटली ब्रह्मन था है रहेगा ब्रह्मन अलो इस ये प्रतिज्ञा जो किया था दिस इज सिद्धम यत पुनः आदौ प्रतिज्ञातम तत्फल उपसंहारार्थः अयं श्लोकः देन टू कंक्लूड that explanation along with its falashruti this shloka is said. What will be the result if you understand it? Now, ajatam jayate yasmat ajati prakrutistataha prakruteranyatha bhavaha na kathanchit bhavishyate ajatam jayate yasmat ajati prakrutistataha prakruteranyatha bhavaha na kathanchit bhavishyate. So, let twisting of the same thing to drive the point clearly. He says, therefore, what is the whole world? Parabrahma only. Is Parabrahma is born, unborn. So from the unborn Parabrahma, how the world came, it cannot come. Therefore, is the Parabrahma born, not born. Therefore, there is no birth, no jati. That's what. Ajatam jayate yasmat. Ajatam only jayate. अजातम ओनली जाति एवरीथिंग इज ब्रह्मन चित्त तो नहीं है ब्रह्म ही है तो ब्रह्मा इज बॉर्न अजातः प्रकृतिस्ततः बाय नेचर ब्रह्म इज अनबॉर्न सो एवरीथिंग इज बॉर्न फ्रॉम ब्रह्मन ब्रह्मन इज बाय नेचर अनबॉर्न तो मैच बोथ ऑफ द सेंटेंसेस व्हाट इज द कंक्लूजन ऑफ बोथ ऑफ देम फॉर दैट ए सपोर्ट आई विल गिव यू प्रकृतेः अन्यथा भावः न कथंचित भविष्यति that whose nature is that it never changes. So Ajam is Paramatma, therefore he is always Ajam, he is never becomes otherwise from his being Ajam. Then you said from him the world came. So you can't contradictly the talk. What is to be conclusion? Ajam Brahma alone is there. From him the Jati or Janma has not come. Therefore Brahman is Ajati and the world is never Jataha. Gold is never born, ornaments are. Gold is never born or dying. Therefore, the ornaments are never born. Paramatma is never born and never dying, eternal. And Jagat is never born and never dying, never there. जगत का ना जन्म हुआ ना मरण हो सकता वो है ही नहीं वो असत्य है परब्रह्म का ना जन्म है ना मरण होगा क्योंकि ये है सत्य है is what he says. Ajatam. See what an important commentary it is. Listen carefully. Ajatam. What is that? Yat chittam. Brahma eva. Here we have to come to a clear understanding that you and I, which we are experiencing as chittam, is Brahma only. Because chittam na jayate was concluded yesterday. How? The earlier sloka in which the nimittam na jayate said, how from the yukti darshana, nimitta we trace to the bhuta darshana. The nimitta, the object of knowledge, when you go to the final cause of it, we arrived at Brahman. From that standpoint, we said object is never born. So too, when the chitta, when it is traced to its ultimate cause, that also goes to Brahman. Therefore, here also chitta is never born. Then what is there? Brahman alone. Then what is the chitta? Brahman alone in the form of chitta. Therefore, Ajatam means never born Brahman, which you are now perceiving as yet Chittam Brahma eva. Jayate iti Vadivi parikalpete tatu Ajatam Jayate Yasmat Ajati Prakriti Tasya. Chitta is never born. Parabrahma is never born as Chitta. Then where is the Chitta? Not accepting this principle. Wherein Brahman alone is there, you are imagining at Chitta. Just like Chitta alone is there, which you are imagining as the world of objects. This is the highest meditation, huh? Only when you transcend the Deha Tadatmya in the deep contemplative mood, you will be able to visualizing this happening in me. That I am that Chitta in which never the world happened. That's how the first thing happens. Now, later on, I am that external conscious blissful Brahma in whom there Chitta never happened. So, the Bhuta Karanam, when it is not searched, only it's a Stula Yukti you took, then the outer world appear to be real, and the Chitta has a cause like the outer world for its perception or impression or knowledge. That's what the discussion. But when you search the Bhuta Karanam of that Nimitta or the Vastu, we came to know that the Vastu is not at all there. Yet the Chitta is created, that Vastu in it. Therefore, where from the Vastu came in the Chitta? From nowhere. Then where from it came? From itself. Therefore, what is Chitta? That without its an object's presence, which can create itself, which can create on itself the object. This is between Nimitta, the outer object, Chitta, inner impression of that object. Object is not there, Chitta only is becoming like that. चित्त का ही भूत कारण आप देखोगे, you will end up in परब्रह्म. परब्रह्म क्या है? अजम. So chitta is in its ultimate cause Parabrahma. Parabrahma is ajam. Then how to match these two things? Parabrahma alone is chitta. Therefore, chittam ajatam yat chittam brahma eva jayate iti. Therefore, chitta is not born at all. Brahma ही है उस दृष्टि में भी. परिकल्प्यते तद अजातम जायते यस्मात् अजाति प्रकृति ततः. Because Brahma cannot be born, therefore chittam is never born. Therefore, either you say neither Chitta nor world, only Parabrahma. Or you say Parabrahman only without being born, he is appearing as Chitta or appearing as a Jagat. In the conclusion of this, among all these three, in the Brahma, in the Chitta, in the Jagat, Brahman alone is real, Brahma Satyam. Then the internal Chitta Jagat, outer gross Jagat, Jagat Mithya. You are not going into the Bhuta Karanam. If you really go into Bhuta Karanam, you go to Brahma. And in Brahma, there are no modification. Therefore, he is never born as Chitta or Chitta never born as the world. Both ways. Parabrahma through Chitta appeared as the Jagat. Jagat by going into its Bhuta Karanam dissolved. Chitta by going into Bhuta Karanam dissolved. What remained is Parabrahma only. This first one is called as Anvaya Sadhana, second is called Vyatireka Sadhana. In Anvaya Sadhana, we say from Parabrahma, Chitta appeared, in the Chitta world appeared. In the Anvaya Sadhana. Vyatireka mein kya karenge? Chitta, outer Jagat is not there when you trace the Bhuta Karanam. Chitta also is not there when you trace the Bhuta Karanam. Bhuta Karanam is the primordial cause. And that primordial Brahma never became anything else. He's never born as anything else. He's always there. At the most, what Karika can do is, you, because of your not deep, subtler thinking ability, you are in your own delusion. More than that, I can't talk about. What do you mean by more than that I can't talk about? The other things called as Chitta is there, it is an effect, it came from Brahma. World is there, it is an effect, it came from the Chitta. ये सब मैं बोलूंगा ही नहीं. You are in delusion of the reality, therefore you are imagining all that. Now, ayam cha aparaha atmanah samsara mokshayoho paramartha sadbhavavadinam dosha uchyate. Now, there is another reason to say to the Atma there is no samsara, therefore to the Atma there is no moksha. It is never bound nor it is liberated. This is called highest Vedanta. That's what Nirodho Nachotpatti. There is another reason to say that there is no samsara, there is no moksha to Atma. These are related. No, only when something is bound, then it is got liberated. Like anything born, that will die. Birth itself is samsara, death itself is moksha. There is no birth called as samsara, there is no death called as moksha. All the Atma, because Atma is neither born nor dying. Jagat also neither born nor dying. Jagat never born nor dying is absolute asat. Atma never born, never dying is absolute sat. That's how sat asat viveka. That's ultimate is what? Other than Brahman and Atman, everything is asat. It is not at all there. That's it. But it's appearing to me. It may appearing to me, but not. Like what will be the talk when you talk to a person who has seen the rope as rope? कि मैं snake देख रहा हूँ हिल रहा है. Whatever you talk, it will not be accepted his mind. Why? Because he is seeing the rope as rope. When you speak for 2 hours to that person about your impression of the snake, its size, its movement, it is hissing and all, कुछ भी कहो 1 घंटा सुनेगा नथिंग घुसेगा. जैसे हम कितने दिन भी सत्संग करें, when the mind is filled with samsara, nothing of vedanta घुसेगा अंदर. You may listen 10 years, कुछ नहीं घुसेगा because it's filled with other data. All this data coming and there's no place in the chip, it's going away. Like when the cell phone is filled up with a memory, no new thing comes and gets registered there. In the same way here. Paramartha Sadbhavavadinam Samsara Moksha Yat Kehte Dosha. Means what? Here is refuting even the Vedantins who say you are bound, you have to do sadhana to discover yourself to be liberated. At the highest level, there is no bandha. Na bandhan, na moksha, Siddhananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. That slowly comes. But as I said 4 days back, yesterday, day before, I didn't say, today I have to repeat. With all the knowledge that no birth, no creation, no death, Brahman alone absolute, with all knowledge, which is our ultimate goal. But at present moment, whatever we stay in our mind, according to that, there are sadhanas to be done. शास्त्र पढ़ना भी पड़ेगा, विवेक वैराग्य पाना ही पड़ेगा, जगत से विद्रोह करना ही पड़ेगा, जप आदि से मन को एकाग्र करना ही पड़ेगा, उपासना से भगवान की कृपा पाना ही पड़ेगा, गुरु से शास्त्र पढ़ना ही होगा, मनन चिंतन. These are all goes on. But ultimately is the truth. If you feel all of them are redundant, directly you can want to reach to the ultimate, you are free. Let it not be a cheating. Don't blame me or the Karikakara if you go wrong there because you do it without qualification, without purification. Now, these two logics are very interesting. Anaderantavatvam cha samsarasya na setsyate anantata cha adimataha mokshasya na bhavishyati. Anaderantavatvam cha samsarasya na setsyati anantata cha adimataha mokshasya na bhavishyati. देखो, very careful user. I'll tell literal meaning in only 2 minutes, 1 minute, Bhashya in 3-4 minutes. What is what? Samsarasya. What is samsara? In the consideration of them, anadehe, which is bigger and lesser. Antavatvam cha, that it will end one day. Na setsyati doesn't suit. The endless samsara will end one day, will not suit. Why? Because that which is endless, the beginningless samsara will end one day. This is the proposition of them. But the logic is what? That which is beginningless should be endless also. If you say the samsara is anadi, it should be ananta also. Then there's no moksha prasanga. Second point. If you say moksha has an adi, because you were bound earlier, you did some sadhana and you got moksha. That means what? Moksha began, no? What is the other logic? Just like the earlier logic that unborn can never die, equally true the other logic that the born has to die one day, it cannot be eternal. Therefore, if the samsara is anadi, then it is ananta. Then if the moksha is adi yukta, then it is also anta yukta. Then again you will go back to the bandhana. That means the eternal moksha is never possible. They were all sadhana, all the shastra, that yad gatvana nivartante taddham paramama, or kasmin yasmin vijnate sarvam idam vijnatam bhavati, brahmavid brahmavi bhavati. All these Upanishad statements are proved to be wrong then. That is what he says. Now listen. Anadehe means atita koti rahitasya samsarasya. That samsara which has no past as beginning means that which you speak as samsara as endless. Antavatvam means samaptihi. Na setsyati yukti tata siddhim na upayasyati. By logic you cannot say that it will end. Why? Nahi anadihi san. That which is beginningless. Antavan. That it will end one day. Kaschit padartha trushtaha loke. There is no object seen which is endless, but one day it will end. There is no corresponding example. Therefore, if you say sansara is anadi, then you will have to say it ananta also. Now, Purva Pakshi puts an example. Sir, bija ankura sambandha nairantarya vicheda drushtaha iti chet. His point is what? Bija and ankura. That bija came from anadi. But suddenly that bija came from Adhirya tree, that came Adhirya tree. One particular bija, when it is put, then it may not germinate. कभी कभी होता है कि नहीं? That is what the bijatva which was anadi has become anta or not here. The point here, the Siddhanta says is that bijatvam in that bija, because of which the ankura comes, so it is not a substantial object as an example. He says, eka vastu abhavena apoditatvatu. Because this is bija and phala or ankura santati is not a substantial object to be taken as an example. It is an object नहीं object होना है ना example के रूप में. A concept you can't give as an example. An object has to be an example. Because when you have to explain a concept, to make the concept acceptable, you have to give a live example. This bija ankura is a concept. It is not a substantial thing. Therefore, giving that as an example to say something is anadi but also antavan is not acceptable. If you say samsara is anadi, it should be ananta also. Then there is no moksha prasanga. Second thing. Tata anantata api of what? Vijnana prapti kala prabhavasya mokshasya. The moksha which you gained because you gained the vijnana. It's a conditional loga, na? You gained the vijnana, therefore you got the moksha. Such a anantata api vijnana prapti kala prabhavasya mokshasya. Because it has a beginning, adimataha, na bhavishyati. It will not be in future. Because ghatadishu adarsanatu. Because when the ghatadi are born in anadi, at a particular time, they are not ananta. In a time when a pot is made, that you may protect as an antique piece for so many years and all. But one day किसी की नजर या हाथ गिरेगा टूट ही जाएगा. So to moksha born one day because of your vijnanam, but it will end one day because anything born should end also. Now an example is given. Very funny one. I am sure you will not understand it. I'll explain. The example given for something which is born but going to be eternal. The example given of the bija ankura was something which was eternal but one day ended. Samsara is eternal, but one day when the jnana came, samsara ended. For that, bija ankura example when he gave, he says, bija ankura is not an object, it's a concept. You can't give that example. Here, second point said by the Siddhanta is what? That which begins should also end. Now, for refuting it, the Purva Pakshi gives an example for a thing which has a beginning but no end. You know what is that example? He says, Gatadi Nashavat Avastutvad Adosha iti chetu. Like the gata is broken, no? Broken. Now that brokenness of gata began, no? When the gata broke, yeah. Now that brokenness of gata, which began when the gata broke, is it eternal or not? Gata broke, it's a beginning. It will not be ending. So which has begun will have to an end, what you said, it is refuted here. Because once the gata broken, the breakage of gata has begun. The beginning of that breakage of gata is endless. Ananta. Again, it is not remade. The gada is not remade. It's over. That concept of non-breakage of gata is eternal because it started, but it's still eternal. देखो कोई चीज का जन्म है तो भी वो अनंत हो सकता है. No, that answer is very sublime. भगवान says, तथा च मोक्षस्य परमार्थ सद्भाव प्रतिज्ञा हानि. You're talking the absence of the gata after breaking as eternal. When we talk about the self or moksha is not there. You have to accept it as a nasti only. Tatacha mokshasya paramartha sadbhava pratyajnani. Moksha means realizing about the absolute self, no, which is eternally present. When you are talking about the eternally present self, how can you give an example of the absence of the pot? So absence of the pot began when the pot broke. Then that absence of the pot which began when the pot broke continues eternally. How can that absence can be an example for the absolute presence of the self? Asatvad eva shashavinasya iti adimatva abhavaha cha. It is like the absence of the horns of the rabbit is eternal because never the horns come. We never spoke about the Shashavishana like a Paramatma, which is not there. We are talking about Paramatma, which is eternally there. So you are the second example that the beginning of the end of the Matka is endless. So that will not be fit to the self which is eternally present. For a establishment of a self called as presence, you can't take the example of the absence. So a thing's absence can begin and it can be eternally there. A house was there. It was broken. Now, is the house there? Not there. So, house not there is a beginning of the house not there aspect. That will be endless because again the house is never made. That doesn't mean something begins, never ends. के लिए वो example है. You can't talk an example of an existent non-existence to prove something about the existence. We are talking about existing Paramatma. हम उनका ही कह रहे हैं उनका ना जन्म हुआ ना मरण हुआ. Same time we are saying चित्त का भी ना जन्म हो सकता है ना मरण. Because the chitta has to come from the Paramatma, which is Janma Marana Rahita. When chitta is Atma is Janma Marana Rahita, how can the chitta can come from it? Your chitta is never come, never dies. From the chitta Jagat comes. What is chitta? Paramatma. What is Paramatma? Never coming and going Parabrahma. Then how come from the never coming and going Parabrahma coming chitta, from that the world can come? No. Therefore, na chitta drishyam jayate, na chitta jayate, na Paramatma jayate. Paramatma na jayate na mriyate because he is eternal. Chittam na jayate na mriyate because it is not independent of the Parabrahma. Jagat na jayate na mriyate because never independent of Chitta. And the Jagat Paramartha Rupena, Bhuta Darshana Rupena, Parabrahma only. Chitta, Bhuta Darshana Rupena, Parabrahma only. Parabrahma is unborn, undying. Then from unborn, undying, how can all this come? They cannot. That means what? They are not there. Then what is there? Brahman alone is there. Then what to do? Abide in that. Abide in the pure Brahman alone is their experience. That is what Ekameva Advayam Brahma Neha Nanasti Kinchana. Then what to talk about the lehare, the waves which are coming and going in the water? Don't talk here. There is nothing wave came and gone, nor the water came and gone. Water is eternal truth, the wave is eternal falsehood. Both of them can never be spoken as born or dying. Only one thing is spoken is which is real, which is unreal. Because you have to talk. Real is Parabrahma alone. Parabrahma is real in the sense of unborn and undying. And the world is unborn and undying in the sense that it is unreal. बोथ आर अनबॉर्न एंड अनडाइंग किसी का अस्तित्व के कारण जन्म मरण नहीं है, इसका परिपूर्ण नास्तिकता का कारण जन्म मरण नहीं है. मतलब इन परमात्मा neither जगत came nor it remained not is merged. So too in me the pure self, never the jiva is born, nor the antakarana is born, nor dehadi are born, nor samsara came, nor I have to give them all up. This we studied in Bhagavad Purana, or it may come in today's class or someplace. I don't know exactly where. But what was said? It is your own insistence that something is born is giving you the acceptance for as if something is born. Otherwise, in the world, Brahman alone is there. Let the multiplicity of the world of so many forms, names may be imagined. Like screen alone is there. You may project millions of movies on that with so many actors, with so many sceneries. Neither the movie born and died on the screen, nor the screen born and died. It was eternal, it was never. This has to be repeatedly heard. Slowly it starts sinking into us. Now, having said so, the 3-4 slokas which we studied already in the earlier Prakaranas is touched upon here also. He says what? Adavante cha yannaste vartamanepi tattatha vitataihi sadrushaha santaha avitatha iva lakshitaha. This was there in the earlier mantra, in the second or third of the second May, 6th and 7th. Vaitata Prakaranaka, 6th and 7th mantra is quoted. We saw it exhaustively. There we just tell here. What is the meaning? Adau ante chayat na asti. That which was not there before, that which is not there at the end, towards the end. In between also, it is not there. It is not there. It is not there. But you are seeing, yeah, you are seeing what it is not there. You only are imagining and taking that imagining as seeing, and that you are taking as real. But that which was not there in the past and the future, in the present also, vitatai sadrushaha. Though it is not there in the present also, but in the present, avitataayavaha, mean non-absent, it is there, drushyate, lakshitaha. Only you are making it lakshita. Like, was there snake before snake is imagined on the rope? No. Is the snake there when the rope is realized as a rope? No. In between, when you are seeing the snake on the rope, is the snake there? It cannot be. वर्तमान में भी स्नेक नहीं है, वितत है, but avitata iva lakshita means not absent but present. That is how you are insisting on that. तुम जबरदस्ती करने के कारण सांप आता नहीं है रस्सी में. तो हम जबरदस्ती कर रहे हैं कि जगत है, इसका मात्र से परमात्मा जगत नहीं बना और जगत सत्य भी नहीं है. क्योंकि द प्रिंसिपल इज that which is never there in the past, never in the future, in the present also, in reality it is not. This is one of the very powerful point of Vedanta, please. जो पहले नहीं था, जो बाद में नहीं होगा, बीच में भी नहीं है. We only insist it to be there. That's how the friendship between two people. It was not there. It will not there in the future. In the present also, it is not there. It is only appearance. One day it is going to disappear. Therefore, a wise person never trusts anything in the Laukika Jagat as there now. In the present also. He will at the most say that it may be appearing, but heart in heart, it knows, he knows that it was not there, it will be not there in the future. You know, a huge building of 120 stories. It was not there. It was a land only few years or decades back. After some thousands of years, everything goes on to the ground. Again, nothing will be there. In the present also it is appearing, but really it is not there. The one who accepts this principle in the present also, it doesn't give reality to anything. Our problem is never with past or future. Our problem is in the present. In the present, what's the problem? Thing which is not there is imagined. The imagined thing is taken as a real. And really we are as if involving, and really as if we are suffering. Just like in a movie, really you feel that the heroine is crying and looking at her, you also really cry. And looking at your other also cries. Crying is real, though the thing is not real because that heroine never cried there. It was only role play. Role play, not real at all. So in this way, Adavante Chayannasti Vartamane Vitathata is a powerful thing. It helps a lot. In the present, to devalue everything's reality, there's no better shloka than this. Vartamane Vitatata. Vitatai Satusha Santa Vitai Lakshita. Now, already the logics that were asked, questions that are asked by Purvapakshi, the second prakarana, which were answered also by our Karikakara, are repeated here. What he gave example was there is saprayojanata for the things in the Jagrat Jagat. There was a discussion about Jagrat Swapna. The whole thing that happened in Vaithatya Prakarana was first Siddhanti took Swapna and proved that Swapna is unreal. Then he said, what exactly is there in the Swapna, the Drishyatva, Nashratva, same in the Jagat also, Jagrat also. There was Swapna, Jagat also, Asattu, he proved it. While this was being done, the Purvapakshi was talking about in Jagat there is the value. There is some activity is going on happening. Saprayojanata is there. When the saprayojanata is happening, how can you say it's unreal? What is saprayojanata? In waking plane, there was a hunger and there is a food. Food was eaten, then hunger has gone away. There was saprayojanata, hai na? What was the logic given by him? Your hunger, which was quenched by the food of the waking, is that waking food is quenching your hunger of the dream? Some people are millionaire in the waking actually, but in dream they may get a dream of being a beggar. So your entire wealth of the waking world never helped you, the beggar in the dream, no? Therefore, the saprayojanta of this waker's wealth has never proved to be nishprayojana in the dream. So that your example of the saprayojanata to prove the Jagrata world is real is rejected. Saprayojanata tesham swapne vipratipadyate. And what remains again is our earlier logic only. Tasmad adyavantavattvena mithya eva khalute smrtaha. Therefore, anything in the beginning is there, not there. Adi antavatvena mithya, that which was never before but started and never going to be permanently because somewhere in between goes away, that is called mithya only. जो पहले नहीं था जिसका आदि हुआ, जो बाद में नहीं होगा क्योंकि उसका अंत हो जाएगा, in between also it is not there. That is mithya. It's only appearance. You know, only appearance. The whole building, it's an appearance. Like in the dining table, everything has put, it's an appearance. After food is eaten and everything is washed, every utensil goes back to its own place in the cupboard. So when they're all on the table, it's only appearing there. Ultimately, when they go back, none of them. So too, everything which came goes away. It was not their beginning, not their end. In between also, it only appeared, it never really there really. That's what we have to catch it. Now, these two slokas, Vaitatya Kruta Vakyakhyanau Shlokau. The shlokas which were commented in the Vaitatya Prakarana, second Prakarana, sloka 6 and 7. Iha, here, samsara moksha abhava prasangena paditau. Here only they are spoken to explain the samsara moksha abhava. There is no samsara bondage, there is no moksha liberation in the pure Brahma. Because you imagine there is samsara, you become responsible for to removing that samsara through sadhana. When you do the sadhana and reach to Brahma, what you recognize is there was never a bondage, never a reality, never a moksha. Sorry. Such is the self, where na bandho na moksha. If there is a bandha, there has to be moksha. You begin the bandha, therefore you talk about the end of the bandha. You begin about the bandha, you talk about the moksha. Otherwise, neither it was bound nor it was liberated. This is how. Now, in dream, we have a lot of experiences of the world. This is what the Pura Pakshi gave na example there also. ఎందుకు పోయింది నాన్న అది? Hari Om Skype, can you listen? Say Hari Om. Okay, okay. ठीक है. Suddenly it got disconnected. I was concerned कि क्या हुआ था. Now, he says, सर्वे धर्मा मृषा स्वप्ने कायस्य अंतर no yeah, third mantra 33 we are seeing सर्वे धर्मा मृषा स्वप्ने कायस्यांतर निदर्शनात् संवृतेस्मिन् प्रदेशे वै भूतानां दर्शनं कुतः. So all the experience of the dream of the world is proved in that logic of second prakarana as unreal. Why? Kayasya anta nidarshana. Because all big things of Parvata Hasti, you saw inside your own body at a corner of the nerve. So Samvrute asmin de pradeshe, in that very narrow place, Bhutanam darshanam kutaha. How can they enter? Therefore, in the dream, whatever you have experienced is mithya, unreal. Same thing what he said was, in the Jagrata also, every experience you get, it is in your own antakarana. It's a very short, small portion. How can a huge, big Parvata, etc. can enter there? Then where are these all experiences in the Jagrata also of the world? That also Mursha. That is what you have to accept logically. This is what is in this shloka proved. Nimittasya animitatvam ishyate bhuta darshanatu iti ayam artha prapanchate etai shlokai. Now these same slokas which were spoken in Vaitatya, why they are quoted here? They are quoted there for, as an answer. Answer is same for the different question. What is the different question or point or topic? Nimittasya animititvam ishyate bhuta darshanat. When you have done the darshana of the bhuta, that which was a nimitta for me to have darshana or jnana in the chitta, it is rejected. I give the example of chair. Chair is the nimitta for the vritti of the chair. But chair is no more a nimitta because when you do the bhuta darshana of the chair disappeared. What is there is Parabrahma which is never changeable. Then where the chitta came, vritti of the chair came in the mind, nimitta ke bina hi tha, nimitta tha hi nahi. ये पॉइंट को एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए द सेम श्लोकास आर कोटेड हियर कि हाउ कम such a big things enter into your own mana, they can't enter. They are what? Mano kalpita means what? They are not real. Therefore, whatever when we experience with our chitta, take that experience as reality, or using that experience we say the world as real. Same thing the Siddhanti also takes as an explanation to prove that it is unreal. We say world is seen, therefore it is real. The Vedanti says the world is seen, therefore it is unreal. Huh? Yeah. His logic is what? Where the world is seen? In your own chitta. Into your chitta, which is so minute. Can the world enter? Cannot. Therefore, you are seeing itself the proof that it is not there. पहले स्वप्न का एक्सप्लेन करते हैं. In the swapna you have seen all mountains. How can they be there? Some corner you experience it in the nerves. Such a huge mountain cannot enter in the nerve of the body. Therefore, it is a imaginary only, but not real. What you have to do, the sadhana or the thing we have to achieve is unreality of the world we have to achieve. Mithyatva of the Jagat we have to achieve. Once that is done, the reality to the Jagat is given up, samsara goes away. Immediately a question comes, then what is reality? In that search, you reach to the self which is always a real. Now, another was raised. These are all already spoken there in that prakarana. Na yuktam darshanam gatva kalasya nimadgatau pratibuddhasya vai sarvaha tasmin deshe na vidyate. So these shlokas number 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. These 6 shlokas were dealt already, here also repeated for different example, different discussion, but the examples are same. Here says, na yuktam darshanam gatva kalasya aniyamad gatau. When in dream, you went someplace and experienced it. Now, you are here in this place. To go to that place, so much of time required. In the dream, you had dream only for 3-4 minutes, in which time you could have not gone there. You never went anywhere actually, even though you experienced it in the dream. Therefore, dream experience of going to some place is an experience of illusion without going there. Second is, you never kept quite having gone there. You have interacted with the people, you talk to the people, but when you wake up from the dream, you can ask that people, ki in dream I met you, we spoke all that. You will never say that you came really, you spoke. That's why Pratibuddha cha vai sarvaha tasmin deshe navidyate. When you have woken up, you don't find yourself in the place where you dreamt. You will wake up only in the room where you slept. So neither you have gone there, nor you have experienced anything there. Not only you have experienced things, you met the people also in dream. Mitradhyai saha sammantrya sambuddho na prapadyate. So when you met that mitra and you had a meeting, round table or cross table conference, you discussed so many issues. Now you woke up, you talk to that friend on waking plane and ask, यार मैं कल आया था तुमसे हमने इतने बातें डिस्कस की. He says, nonsense, where did you came? You never came only here, he says. Therefore, all the mantrana which you have done in the Nitswapna was unreal only. Otherwise, that fellow would have told you, no, waking में आप पूछोगे तो हाँ तुम आए थे यार हमने डिस्कस किया क्या कहा है क्या करे करके. Now, in the dream, another thing happens. Gruhintam chabi atkinchito. That you have stolen or you are given some gift or you bought. बहुत चीजें आपने पकड़ा. स्वप्न में शॉपिंग में गए, जिस जगह पे आप गए दोस्तों के साथ, सलाह मशवरा ली, then he told this is good for you, you buy it, you paid the check or some उसको आपने किया कार्ड वाला, then he packed and gave that vastu, you held it, when you wake up, where is that vastu? Gruhitam chaviyat kinchit pratibuddha na pashyati. So in the dream, there was a kala, there was a desha, there was a vyakti, there is a vastu, there is an interaction, there is a grahana, there is a anubhuti. When you woke up, there was no time sufficient for you to go there, therefore you never went there. The people you met, when you call them and ask, they say you never came to us. The objects which you are given or bought, they are not there with you. Then neither the object is there, nor the place is there, nor the person, nor the time, but still you experienced it. What is the combination of both of them? You experienced mithya, unreal. Same when you apply in the waking plane. A waking is a longer dream. When you awaken to the self, the experience will be like when you awaken from the dream. How do we feel about the unreality, illusoriness of entire dream? For awakened, dream is unreal and illusion. So to the one who awakens to Paramatma, entire waking is unreal and dream. Okay, this is what it is. Tomorrow we'll see further. Wonderful things keep on coming up. Just chant all these mantras twice. Adavante cha yannasti vartamanepi tattadha vitatai sadusha santah avitata iva lakshitaha. Adavante cha yannasti vartamanepi tattadha vitatai sadusha santah avitata iva lakshitaha. Saprayojanata tesham swapne vipratipadyate तस्मादाद्यन्तवत्वेन मिथ्यैव खलु ते स्मृताः सप्रयोजनता तेषां स्वप्ने विप्रतिपद्यते तस्मादाद्यन्तवत्वेन मिथ्यैव खलु ते स्मृताः सर्वे धर्माः मृषा स्वप्ने कायस्यान्तर्निदर्शनात् संवृतेऽस्मिन् प्रदेशे वै भूतानां दर्शनं कुतः सर्वे धर्मा मृषा स्वप्ने कायस्यान्तर्निदर्शनात् संवृतेऽस्मिन् प्रदेशे वै भूतानां दर्शनं कुतः न युक्तं दर्शनं गत्वा कालस्यानियमात् गतौ प्रतिबुद्धश्च वै सर्वः तस्मिन् देशे न विद्यते न युक्तं दर्शनं गत्वा कालस्यानियमात् गतौ प्रतिबुद्धश्च वै सर्वः तस्मिन् देशे न विद्यते मित्राद्यैः सम्मन्त्र्या सम्बुद्धो न प्रपद्यते गृहीतं चापि यत्किञ्चित् प्रतिबुद्धो न पश्यते मित्राद्यैः सह सम्मन्त्र्या सम्बुद्धो न प्रपद्यते गृहीतं चापि यत्किञ्चित् प्रतिबुद्धो न पश्यति. We'll go further tomorrow. Sarvam Parabrahmarpणमस्तु. Om 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 Om. Today's topic of power on being happy by choice. One of the very, very important topics to be practical. We are already the eternal blissful self. Remain in that, that's it. See the power in that by choice of being happiness, being in happiness, nothing can trouble me. The very subtle trick is there in that choice. The moment choose to be happy, you cease to be miserable. You don't choose to be happy, you choose to be miserable. That's it. Second thing we are doing always. Use that power in being happy. बस कुछ हो या ना हो. That's called samatha. Anything happening, not happening, convenient, non-convenient, you are just remaining in happy. When you can be happy in spite of all pairs opposite, then be happy in spite of all opposites. That's you're already in yoga and samadhi in a moment's notice. That's the choice of being happy. Power it is. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasa Purnamadaya Purnamevavashyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha Paramarshibhyo Namaha Parabrahmane Namah Shrutimatre Namaha Om Tatsat Brahmarpanamastu Om Mandukamarshya Gaudavadacharya Varyaya Adi Shankara Adi Sadguru Bhyo Namaha. 10 minutes I need from you. We will do our Bhashya Parayanam little. As we started it, let us do it. क्यों छोड़ देना है बेटा? हम्म, 5 मिनट देना, तैयार भी करनी